everyone. Welcome to this edition of PitchPassPod. It's me, Brando.
What's
my
up?
co-heart here, Brett Lee.
How's it going, everybody? It's our first episode with FACECAMs on, so that's definitely an interesting one.
Everyone can see what we look like now.
Yeah. And we discussed a little bit in advance. We know this is probably going to be a spicy show, so if you have something of choice, cheers. Enjoy. Yeah. Sit back, enjoy the show, because this is probably going to be a fun one. I know we didn't discuss this, but something we always do, we just do a super brief review of the games that happened last week. So this is going to be our NFL playoffs week 2 review and week 3 preview. We're looking at the championship games this week.
Yeah, we're going to recap that wild card round and talk about what happened. Well, we're going to recap the divisional round, and we're going to talk about what happened to these championship games. So, we have been spoiled yet again. Same as last year, a bunch of great playoff games. And it started off with
Jaguars,
a bang.
Chiefs.
Jaguars and Chiefs. Your Chiefs were able to hold on by Patrick Mahomes' sprained ankle to fend off the Jags in this one.
So, two things. One, Chad Henne.
That TD drive was special.
98 yards or something like that. He went 5 of 7 for 23 yards. That's not like super impressive. He did rush and lose a yard, but that kind of is what it is. But he did end up throwing that touchdown. I think he was the one that found Kelsey for Kelsey's second touchdown.
Yep.
Man, that was just that's what we have backups for, and that's what we pay him for.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And what that drive alone also showed me, Eric Bieniemy needs to be getting more interviews than just with the Indianapolis Colts as a head coach.
Yeah.
And also, hot take, would be a better hire than fucking Jeff Saturday.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say Frank Reich. I was like, I like the Frank Reich hire, actually.
I like the Frank Reich hire to Carolina. I'm not going to... I think Frank Reich is a better head coach probably right now than Eric Bieniemy.
Yes, I agree with that as well.
Of the shit ton of experience. Yeah,
no joke.
But Trevor Lawrence was willing them in this game to stay close.
Yeah. There are a few things that definitely need to be talked about. Trevor Lawrence definitely showed that vision and ability to scramble when he wasn't able to find an open receiver. He averaged 8.7 yards per carry. That's great. He was 24 of 39. That's not terrible. 217, 1-1. Mahomes, he was not going to leave that game because he wants that AFC championship.
He wants that championship, and Mahomes is a warrior. He wants to play no matter what is going on with him.
So, I don't remember who said. I think it was I think it was Colin Cowherd said this week. Mahomes on one leg is still the third best quarterback in the NFL. And I was like, much. that's actually a good take from him for once. The Chiefs.
Good take from the spin doctor.
I saw a couple things that were really promising in this game. I loved what I saw out of Pacheco, especially when McKinnon wasn't able to step up. Pacheco got a little bit more volume than McKinnon, only one more carry. But what he was able to do with those carries was fantastic. We really weren't able to establish any screens, any sort of alternate run game with McKinnon, which is something that's definitely something to look out for. But I know that
Pacheco is definitely the back you guys want to run with.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a tell for your guys' offense.
Yes. I know that this roster, everybody on this roster really wants to win. This was a very promising game. Despite the injury, it was a very scary injury watching my quarterback's ankle fold in half. But he is walking around a little bit gingerly this week. But I also want to give credit to Zay Jones really stepped up in this game. Travis Etienne had a pretty decent game, averaging over 6 yards per rush. That was great. Jags defense.
It kind of seemed like they abandoned the run game early.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, I feel like, should have stuck with it just a little bit longer. Like, not only was Travis Etienne having good runs with the ball, Trevor Lawrence was as well. Like you said, 3 carries, 26 yards. Another fun stat, 7 yards after contact.
Really? For Lawrence?
Yeah, 7 total yards after contact. So, and he trucked a linebacker at one point. Like, he wanted to win this game.
Yes, he did.
It felt similar to when he played Alabama in the national championship when he was at Clemson.
First loss on Saturday, guys. First loss
on Saturday. Hey, if it wasn't for that Jamal Agnew fumble, man. Jamal Agnew was fucking this game up for the Jags, honestly. No offense to the corner turned wide receiver. He's the reason they lost this game.
Yeah.
You wanted to put it on one guy.
You know, I'll say he did a great job returning kicks in this game, but punts, no. And anyway.
Really he came this close from taking a kickoff return back against you.
Yes, I know.
If it wasn't for Buckner just getting there to him, man, he would have housed it.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say is it's nice seeing Butker healthy for the first time since week 3. Yeah.
Makes such a big difference when your kicker is actually good and playing.
Especially with how close some of these games have been. He made a long of 50 in this game. That was great to see. And didn't miss any extra points. That was another nice thing to see. I'm not going to say encouraged because obviously the injury is not great, but our consistency of being able to move the ball and score throughout the game, despite our quarterback's injury, was impressive to me. And I don't think that the Jaguars are any slouch, but I don't think that they're a championship caliber team. So I was encouraged by this win, but it all comes down to how Mahomes is feeling this week.
It really does. Like, how can Mahomes move around in the pocket? Can he step up into throws?
Yeah.
And frankly, is that ankle going to hold up when he gets hit?
I don't know. That's my number one.
That should be a lot of people's concern because this is a good Bengals defensive line.
Yes.
They're going to get after you.
Yeah.
Especially against the tackles of Casey. Even Orlando Brown has struggled a little bit in pass protection.
A lot.
Throughout the year.
A lot. That's our number one weak point, honestly, in my opinion.
Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
It's so funny because he's trying to get like Laramie Tunsil money.
I know. When he got there, he said, "I'm never gonna let Mahomes get hit," and that's all he's done. He's been dog shit.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Let's be straight up. He's a better right tackle than he is a left tackle. He's great in the run game. He can move fucking people in the run game. Maybe he's just an oversized fucking guard. I don't know.
I think that's probably what we're looking at.
It's probably what we're...
I was encouraged by our ability to establish this run game. The Jags have done a really good job of shutting out run games when they need to. Pacheco really had a great game. He averaged almost 8 yards per carry. That was fantastic. I think he is going to be our running back moving forward. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back this week. I believe Mecole's trying to come back this week. We have a few guys that are coming back this week, but we'll talk about that a little bit when we get to the conference championship. But yeah, the Chiefs win over the Jaguars. It was encouraging despite the injury.
Yeah. And it also showed, like, you guys can win in more than one way. You guys don't need Patrick Mahomes to be out there being Superman to still pull off and win against a quality team.
Definitely. Also, sorry, if you see me looking this way, the monitor that I have him on is over here. So when I'm looking this way, here, you know what might be a better thing to do is let me move this tab. Hang on one sec. Well, I'll figure it out in a second because it's glitching out over here. So let me move this whole tab. I know the tab doesn't want to move. There we go. Now I can look at you over here. That's awesome. There we go. Much better.
There we go. There I am. There I am doing things.
So that was Chiefs Jags. Now we're gonna look at Giants Eagles. There wasn't a whole lot to say in this game. The Giants just got exposed for being a much worse team. It was nice to see Giant Slayer back in action. Boston Scott,
another TD. Okay, it has to be an ongoing joke at this point, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, that's the whole reason why. Exactly. It was definitely a BM. I tweeted that out. If you guys didn't see it, I said this is a free money bet. He gets it every single game.
Like, they have to be trolling the
Yes.
Giants at this point.
Yeah.
Because Boston Scott's their third best running back.
Arguably fourth, because Jalen Hurts in there.
Jalen Hurts, are we gonna count him as a running back then?
He gets a lot of rushing done.
He's their best back on the goal line.
Definitely, for sure. So yeah, this was just a tour of force by the Eagles. Like, they didn't have to do any. I mean, they were up 28-0 at the half. Yeah. Their defensive line really stepped up this game. Hassan Reddick got a sack and a half. Fletcher Cox got a sack. Brandon Graham got a sack. Josh Sweat with 1.5. Yeah, the Eagles just dominated. And who got the pick? I know somebody got a pick. It was James Bradbury. Yeah, the Eagles just have such a complete roster as a whole, both offensively and defensively. They have the best offensive line in the league, no questions in my mind. And the Giants just really were not able... I mean, the Giants' best receiver at this point in time is probably Darius Slayton, Richie James, or Isaiah Hodgins. One of those three, and that's not saying much.
And all three of those players are probably not starters on a vast majority of NFL teams.
No. Hodgins, maybe. You can make that argument. He'd be like a wide receiver 3, but again.
Yeah, just probably not on a good team.
Yeah. Saquon was really the only bright spot for the Giants here. 9 carries for 61 yards, just averaging under 7 yards.
Man,
Breida got a touchdown.
So familiar.
What, Saquon being the only bright spot?
Barkley's the only bright spot
for years.
The New York Giants. Yeah, man, it's
yeah.
What a career!
I know.
Yeah, it's like you're a flashlight.
Yeah.
And the entire hotel is out of power.
Literally, yeah. That's a perfect description. It's just only going to help.
Like a dollar store flashlight. Well, no,
Saquon's a high-power flashlight. Okay.
Saquon Barkley's one of those police bitches that they're gonna blind you with.
Real, actually, but that's the only thing that they can do too. Yeah. I feel like there wasn't a lot to discuss about that game. It was just the Giants were not suited to match up with the Eagles, and the Eagles just...
Well, they should have been defensively.
Yeah.
Because realistically, the Eagles just took over up front.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau and Leonard Williams, they just didn't
perform,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jihad Ward didn't have a great game. That's really all you can say about it. Like, their only sack even came from a safety on a blitz.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds about right.
And the Eagles' defense just, like you said, smothered them.
Yeah.
There was no moving the ball against them whatsoever.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Uh-oh. You know what I just noticed? Our little thing here froze. Our little pop-out, our face cams froze. That fix it? That one fixed it. Well, it looks like I have to be looking this way or else we're frozen.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, it'll freeze in that spot?
Well, it's, is it not frozen? Is it just because I made it full screen, or when I minimized the app? Gotcha. So I can't see what we're actually recording. Got it. Great. That's what the issue is.
You can only see me live. You can't see what we're actually recording. It is pure faith, my friend.
Oh, we got a lot of that over here. That's it.
It's like Indiana Jones. Just take a leap of faith. Which also, what a weird movie to sprinkle Christianity in. Throw out the Nazis.
Hey.
You
know, had a lot of the Lego sets in the games growing up. That's the only thing I'm going to say on that.
A lot of Legos.
Yeah.
Man, the Eagles' defense is honestly just the equivalent of stepping on a Lego.
Yeah.
It's fucking awful to deal with.
You
don't know where it's going to come from
every step of the way. Yeah. The Eagles are probably just the best entire roster in the NFL. I think that's just the best way of saying it.
Yeah, they're the best. They're the most complete roster right now.
Yeah.
Left standing. Man, I don't even know. This year, the Final Four in the playoffs this year are so good.
Yeah.
Because literally you have the best quarterback in the NFL, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Bengals have such a solid roster from top to bottom. Just their offensive line's a weak point.
Mm-hmm.
And the Eagles that essentially have no weakness.
None. Yeah.
And then you have the 49ers to where their only issue is if you make Brock Purdy air it out. And then that might not even be an issue.
I think that the roster, the skill positions surrounding him are talented enough to make up for it.
They're so good it can overcome anything.
I don't think there's a lot really else to note on that game. So we can just hop over to Bengals-Bills, the rematch, the match we should have gotten here.
And as we saw on that Monday night game, the Bengals just picked up where they left off and just kept shellacking them.
Yeah, the Bengals, I will say that there definitely looked like a difference in preparation between these two teams.
The Bills were looking past them.
Yeah, the Bills were looking to rematch the Chiefs, and that got them run over. The Bills were held scoreless in both the first and fourth quarters, and that's terrible. The Bengals hopped out to a 17-7 lead at the half, which you can definitely come back from that. But then it went to 24-10, and then it was 27-10 at the end. So the thing to look at for the Bengals for me, obviously Joe Mixon had a pretty large, sizable game. 20 carries for 105 yards and a touchdown. That's over 5 yards per carry. Samaje Perine didn't have to do a lot in this game, but he was still averaging over 4 yards per attempt. Joe Burrow, 23 of 36 for 242, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Both Jamar and Hayden Hurst found the end zone. I was a little bit shocked by T's underproduction in this game, but I also feel like they're kind of saving him for this week.
Having him against KC.
Yeah.
Because you guys are not going to let Jamar Chase cook you for a third time, right?
No.
Like, that has to be who your guys are going to try to take away. We'll get more into that when we get into that game.
Yeah.
Something that I really enjoyed watching was the interior defensive line of the Bengals go to work.
Yes.
They were winning in the pass game. They were winning in the run game.
Yeah.
You saw the Bills get turned one-dimensional.
Yeah. And
even with Josh Allen, with the big arm he has, he was overthrowing Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Well, he was not playing super well in this now.
Yeah, so there were really 3 key aspects. Number 1, they were getting after Josh Allen, and even if he was getting the ball out or, away at least, he was still getting hit. He was getting shot a lot. He took one really big... I think he was only sacked once.
Only once by Von Bell.
Yeah, but he took some huge hits that really shook him up. You could tell that he was really getting frustrated. The other problem...
Stephon Diggs was getting frustrated.
For sure. And that was very voiced during and after the game, on the sideline, in interviews, on Twitter, all of the above. But, I'd be frustrated too, because the real things that lost in this game, Josh Allen did not execute. That's number 1. They could not establish any form of run. Any. And it sucks to see. Who got their 1 touchdown? Yeah, Josh Allen rushed for their 1 touchdown. So, yeah,
the only receiver that was getting open was Diggs.
Yep. Well, Dawson Knox was not, it's fine. I agree with you, though. That was really, the issue was that it was very one-dimensional from them. It was all dependent on either the Allen rushing or Allen to Diggs connection. And because Allen was constantly under pressure and because the weather was less than ideal, I'm not going to give him that out, but I'll contribute it to the poor performance.
The poor performance has to also come from what the Bengals were doing schematically as well, because we saw they took away the middle of the field with their safeties, and Mike Hilton took away the slot.
Yes,
Mike Hilton. Honestly, Mike Hilton was their MVP of that game. From my point of view, getting a bunch of tackles getting a tackle for loss, 6 tackles in the run game. He had 2 assisted tackles, a pass breakup. Just a monster. They're underrated. One of the best slot corners in the NFL today. Between him, Von Bell, Jesse Bates, they really made life harder for Josh Allen.
No, you're
absolutely
right. They made him
have to beat them on the outside.
Yes. Yeah.
And they didn't.
And exactly. And that's something what you were just referencing and said probably much better than I will eloquate when we get to that game. That's something that I want to kind of continue reflecting on as we look at the matchup of Travis Kelce going into this game. But for this game, the Bills just were not prepared appropriately for this game. They did not execute very well. Josh Allen put up a decent amount of yards, but it just wasn't productive in terms of scoring. because you could throw for 900 yards if you go up and down the field 9 times but never score. What does it matter?
Yeah,
it just does not matter. So yeah, this was just kind of the Bengals showing that they are a much better, more disciplined and well prepared roster. They did a really good job of taking away the only things that Buffalo does well, and they did what they do best. They spread the ball. Mixon dominated the rushing game, but everybody contributed in the receiving game. Jamar, 5 receptions. Hayden Hurst, 5 receptions. Samaje Perine, 5 receptions. T. Higgins, 3 receptions. Tyler Boyd only had 1, whatever. Joe Mixon had 2. Trenton Irwin had 1. And Mitchell Wilcox had 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different guys that caught a pass in this game.
It's more impressive when you think so many guys contribute and they're having so much success for there, missing 3 starters in the offensive line.
Yeah.
Or left tackle, left guard, and right tackle, all out for this game.
Yeah, and the other thing, I'm saying this as a biased Chiefs fan, and I'll acknowledge this, but if the Bengals do make the Super Bowl, I don't want to hear that same excuse. Oh, well, they would have won if they had the offensive line, because we didn't get that against the Buccaneers. So if you play against the 49ers or the Eagles in the Super Bowl and you get your shit rocked, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, well, part of it evolved, and Joe Burrow has gotten so good at the quick passing game.
Yes, he has the quick release. Yes, that's something that's definitely changed.
Tomorrow, J.P. Ryan, even though the yards weren't anything crazy, about 31 yards on 5 receptions, he's still getting a bunch of first down situations there.
Yes.
They're keeping a hold of the clock. They're taking control of time management there.
That's nearly 5 yards per attempt still. Yes, yeah.
They're essentially just sitting on the clock using their passing game pretty much. Let's flipping on its head how you would traditionally think about how the run game is used.
Yeah.
Like milk clock. That's almost how the Bengals were using the passing game.
Literally, yeah. They just do a really good job of distribution. I think that's probably the thing that the Bengals do best, because they're able to completely torch you with 3 or 4 of their players. Like, we've seen Mixon go nuclear this year. Obviously, we know Jamar can go nuclear. We've seen T have a fantastic fucking game. But the big real thing to focus on in this game is how they're able to run out the clock by distributing the ball, and how Joe Burrow is able to dissect defenses. And I agree. I really think he's come into that kind of... I wouldn't say he's the same caliber as a Brady or Peyton yet, but that's kind of where his game is looking to me. I think that's the thing that he's going to be really good at doing, is that quick release, that, oh, hey, I have a little screen available here, or, oh, I have a little, whatever. And I think that with the talent surrounding him for the next at least 3 years, they're definitely going to be Super Bowl caliber team for the next 3 years. But when you have to start signing some of these guys, that's going to be the thing to look at.
See, I'm not too worried about that, honestly, because I like that you said about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, specifically Peyton Manning.
Yes, the
Joe Burrow, the way that he makes checks at the line, sets up his own protections as well.
Yes,
is always just trying to get his team in the right play.
Yes,
every single time. We'll even change formations like Manning did.
Yes, because he reads defenses at the line. Yes, exactly. Yeah,
he is the system.
Yeah,
Burrow is now to the point to where he is the system that he's running.
Yes.
I'm just... It's going to be really tough going forward for any team that's playing against the Bengals.
For real, no joke.
Because of how well he dissects all 22 film as well.
Yeah, I agree.
For him, it's 100% cerebral. Joe Burrow isn't anything crazy to talk about athletically.
No.
I feel like if you put on a blindfold and we're just thinking raw athleticism, him and Brock Purdy are probably about the same.
Probably, yeah. I would give Burrow a slight edge, but it's not too significant. Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of Brock Purdy, let's go on to Dallas 49ers. This was a fun game to watch because it was really back and forth.
Yeah, man. There were a few things to point out in this game. Waste of money Maher got... I know that it was blocked, but if you looked at the trajectory of the PAT, it was going to miss anyway. He did have 2 really good field goals, but his point after, I don't know why it's so terrible. Kevontae Turpin is a huge difference maker for this roster.
He is a fantastic returner. Mm-hmm. What a great signing from the USFL. Was the USFL MVP last year.
Yep.
Fantastic player. I love him. I'm happy that he's getting more playing time as a special teams player.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see him. The Cowboys try to find some way to work him into their normal offense.
Definitely.
Even if it's just a package or something, like have him and Pollard in the backfield at the same time.
Actually real, yeah.
Yeah, like just like a small little set like that would be fun to watch. I'm just saying this as something I want to watch as a human being, not for something I think Dallas is going to actually do.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb had such a nice game. He was willing them in this game. The best performance they had on offense was from him.
He is earning my respect for sure. No question. I was critical on him, but he is definitely. He's not showing up in the way that I thought he would, but he is definitely showing up in a lot of different ways for this team. I'm very surprised with how he has developed, because when he first came into the league, I was kind of like, I don't really ever see this transitioning into being like a star or elite receiver. Like, I know the potential was there, but I didn't see it happening, especially not with Dak and the way that the Cowboys play the game because they're so run heavy. But he definitely has proved me wrong. This is one that I will definitely eat my words on, because 10 receptions for 117 yards against this defense is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, and something that's really funny that, like, coming out, I would have not have thought of, like, CeeDee Lamb mostly winning from the slot. I'm pretty sure he led this year of, like, receiving yards out of the slot. And
I think that might be Amon-Ra.
Out of the slot specifically, let's see.
Tyler Boyd, 407.
Tyler Boyd, there we go.
Huh. Christian Kirk's up there too, I think.
Yeah, Christian Kirk should be up there as well. CeeDee Lamb had the most yards out of the slot with 967.
Oh, that might have been last year. Oh, that is 2020.
And then Kirk is 931.
Yeah. So.
Which is saying that he almost had 1,000 yards out of the
slot. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
He's fucking murdering slot corners this year. And fucking 92 targets out of the slot. This CeeDee Lamb, he has size to him. He's 6'2". Like, it's not like he's probably just he's honestly just dunking on some of these 5 corners.
Yeah, definitely. No, you're absolutely right about that.
But that's about where talking about the Dallas Cowboy offense ends. Dalton Schultz also got into the end zone, but he didn't do much else in this game receiving.
Well, also have to give some credit to Tony Pollard. Horrible injury though.
Was actually running pretty well before he got hurt.
Yeah. Man, that sucks. The main differentiator for me in this game, I mean, there were two. Micah Parsons was completely nullified.
Shut out.
Yes.
Trent Williams put him in a chokehold, put him in a corner, told him it's timeout, can't come out of this corner until the end of the fourth quarter.
Watching the footwork, watching how he maneuvered Parsons and literally just had his way with the entire game was disturbing, honestly. But it was like
Hall of Fame tackle, man. First ballot.
Might be the greatest of all time.
Ooh, that's a big one. Trent Williams, best left tackle
ever
play. I mean, if you're doing that to another possible Hall of Fame player, yeah.
It wasn't even like a questionable I'm allowing some pressure. Yeah. He was literally just like stepping in step with him and just saying, "No, we're going this way. We're going this way. We're not going anywhere." Effortless.
Trent Williams is also so athletic. His footwork is so fantastic. He can just mirror guys who run a 4.3.
Yeah, no joke, no question.
He's so strong. Micah Parsons usually, like, if he can't win with speed, he tries to win with strength.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be able to do that against Trent Williams.
Dude.
Like, Trent Williams is much stronger than he is. But, yeah, the 49ers offensive line actually did a fantastic job of protecting Brock Purdy during this game. Dallas only got home on him 2 times, which is saying a lot playing against this defense.
Yeah. And it wasn't Micah Parsons. It was DeMarcus Lawrence and I don't know how to say it. Osa.
Osi?
Yeah. Yeah, it was from Dallas, it was pretty much honestly the game that I was expecting. When we talked about it last week, I told you I expected it to be a really low scoring game. I know a lot of people didn't expect that. Maybe not this low scoring, but
yeah.
I expected it to be very, very run-centric, and I was very surprised also with Kittle, 5 receptions for 95 yards. Yeah. That was nuts.
George Kittle, out of all their weapons, I think is honestly the best one.
Probably.
I think he's the best receiver on that entire roster when it comes to, like, catching the ball and, like, actually running a route.
Yeah.
He might even be the best one with the ball in his hands, too. Be straight up with you. It's between him and Deebo Samuel.
I was gonna say Deebo and C-Mac. You could make the argument for Deebo or C-Mac because of utility, but I think you're right about Kittle.
Kittle's just he's such an athlete.
Yes.
And that insane catch where it shouldn't have been that crazy catch because he bobbled it.
Yeah.
But him still coming down with it for like a 40 or like 20-yard gain.
20, yeah.
Is insane. I'm a big George Kittle guy because I love tight ends that are both exceptional at blocking, have great downfield speed, and are good at catching the ball. That's what the position was always meant to be. A lineman that can go run around.
Yes, definitely. Speaking of incredible catches, though, Fred Warner.
Dude, Fred Warner is a fucking savage.
Yeah, that was textbook reading a play, and just the athleticism of Fred Warner. The majority of guys on the 49ers, and we were talking about this before because you said it was at Dre Greenlaw.
At Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah. He was the one who got cooked the most this year, but
has given up the most like receiving yards out of all linebackers.
Yeah, and it's like,
but he's like targeted so often because like who else are you gonna throw the ball at?
Yeah, literally, literally. Yeah. So Fred Warner had a huge interception, and Lenoir had the other one. This game very, very easily could have gone to Dallas. I mean, if they hadn't missed the PAT, we're looking at a 13-19 game. And then if you factor in the 2 interceptions there, I mean, you very easily could have gotten 2 field goals off of 2 of those. So
straight up, the MVP of this game for the 49ers, it's Fred Warner.
Yes, definitely.
Like, the interception you highlighted, also him carrying that slot wide receiver down the seam, fucking 50 fucking yards to break up that pass. Insane.
He's an animal. He
is a DB playing linebacker.
No joke, he is.
Also led them in tackles in this game.
Yeah.
Had a tackle for loss. He can be sent on blitzes and get after the quarterback a little bit as well. He only gave up 16 yards in coverage.
16?
This whole game.
Wow.
Actually, not 16, sorry. That's how many interception return yards he had. Can't see his coverage stats yet.
Man, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. This is our first time doing this with the camera. I don't know why in the world this whole thing got so moved around, messed up. I don't know. I think when I switched screens, it switched the resolution or ratio of this. So it moved our moved like our little things all around. But I'll fix that right now. I'm just noticing that too, because since I moved it back, my bad, y'all.
You're A-okay, my
sorry,
friend.
This is the equivalent of a live show, doing our first time of a live show.
Yep.
But not because we're recording. But you're just here for the analysis anyway, so it's fine.
You're just here for the ride, people.
You're not here for technical skill, ability, and transition between scenes.
Actually,
okay.
He did better than I thought he did. He gave up 4 catches for 2 yards.
Fred Warner?
Sorry, 2 catches on 4 targets, 15 yards.
Okay.
I'll close around the money the first time.
Yeah.
15 yards for Fred Warner gave up in this game. 7 tackles, 8 total tackles, tackle for loss, interception.
Yeah.
Along with a pass breakup down the field. Like, fantastic player.
Yeah.
He's such a heat-seeking missile out there.
Really, no joke. Yeah, his ability, the versatility of all of these players is just unmatchable, in my opinion. There's not another defense in the NFL other than maybe the Eagles where you could have players switching positions and roles like they do, and
it still works.
Yep.
And even when Dre Greenlaw is out there, they still have definite linebacker. Azeez Algier, such a good third linebacker for them.
Yes, definitely.
Also, fucking you, Dallas. For possibly Ezekiel Elliott's last play as a Cowboy, you line him up as a fucking center.
Yeah, and he just gets destroyed.
Aziz Alzir just... Or was that Dre Greenlaw? It doesn't matter. It was one of the 49ers linebackers. It's not Fred Warner.
Yeah.
Fucking jacked him up and fucking just threw him on the ground real quick.
Demolished. Yeah, I know. It was bad. Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
Who snap the ball, snap it.
Who was it that did that before? Was it the Colts that did that before?
It was the Colts.
Yeah.
Not a special teams play. This play was so... Because you can see what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You saw, like...
Well, you see a lot more of what it was supposed to be here. Yeah.
You saw a wide receiver's coming. Dak, quick throw on, like a quick slant. And then you just pitch it right to Elliott, and there's blocking right there. And you're hoping Zeke can take it to the house. Even though he hasn't been explosive for 3 years. Because cocaine and alcohol in Mexico does that to you.
Hey, man.
Sorry, that was a little bit at the end.
Hey, you know what? It's, yeah, Zeke has been really good at getting, 3 or 4 yards when you really need him to, but...
It's a good goal line back.
He hasn't shown the explosiveness that we came to expect from him, and ever since getting paid, it's been...
Right down the hill.
Yeah.
I really do think that this was Ezekiel Elliott's last game as a Cowboy.
It's very possible. We'd have to see. I don't know. I honestly can't say what's in his future or if the Cowboys will re-sign him on a cheap deal, but...
I'm just wondering who would sign Ezekiel Elliott, because you're essentially just signing him to be play a very specific role.
A very goal line power back, yeah.
He's also very good at pass protection.
That's also true.
Okay. When he's actually playing running
back. Yeah.
What we just talked about, him playing center, he can't block worth a shit. If he's a running back, he can pick up a blitzer.
I wouldn't hate the Chiefs signing him if we got him dirt cheap, but...
I mean, how different is he from Pacheco, except for being less explosive at this point?
Well, I was going to say he would be a little bit better for, the interior power runs and probably blocking a little bit, but that would be about it. That's what I'm saying. If we can get him dirt cheap, maybe, but other than that, no.
You guys just need a running back that actually has vision, that has athletic ability and vision at this point.
Yeah, Pacheco showed a lot of promise, though, especially this last week.
Pacheco has shown a lot of promise. I will say that. He's very athletic, too.
I'm waiting to see what's going to happen next year. Because this year, we kind of felt... what's it called? It was almost a necessity to see if there was anything salvageable with CEH, because we had that stretch of really good games with him that he looked really good in the beginning of the year, and then it was just...
I want to make a cut up of just all the times of Clyde Edwards-Helaire having amazing blocking, and then getting hawked down.
Yeah.
Man has no breakaway speed.
I still very sad that we wasted that pick.
No.
But
I think about that pick often.
Trust me, I do as well. It makes me very, very... I went back and looked. Man, if we went into the second, third, fourth round of that draft, if you look at some of the guys that were taken, I understand some of them were successful, because of their teams, but, if you look at who was still available, even in the second round, I was like...
Or even if you guys would have not went running back.
I know.
In a different direction, like corner or defense or edge.
Hang on. Let me. Let's look at this real quick. Okay, so it was the 2020 draft, right? So 2020 NFL draft. So let's see
who was taken. Off the rails. Let's go.
Who is taken after Clyde Edwards-Helaire? God, that's bright.
It's so bright. You are in a different shade now.
I'm glowing. Yeah, no joke.
Glowing. The glow up from Wikipedia.
Taken immediately after CEH. T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr.
Yep.
DeAndre Swift. Kyle Duggar. Jonathan Taylor.
Much better options.
Antoine Winfield Jr.
Are these all just in a row?
No, I mean the first few were
pinpointing ones you like.
I mean, yeah. Well, there's Xavier McKinney, Yetur Gross, Matos. Yeah.
Not Matos. Matos would have been better.
Cole Kmet.
would have been better.
Yeah.
Second tight end with Travis Kelce. That would come in handy this year.
Chase Claypool, Jalen Johnson, Trayvon Diggs, Cam Akers, Jalen Hurts, AJ Epinesa, J.K. Dobbins. Shit, dude, J.K. Dobbins would have been better.
There's so many better options.
A.J. Dillon.
There's a lot of better options.
Yeah. Antonio Gibson. Yeah, there's just so many better. It's so sad.
Your guys' hey, Veach found Mahomes. That's all you had to do. That's all you had to do.
Honestly, maybe a hot take. I would have taken Devin Duvernay over. Anyway, that's fine.
First round pick. They would have put you on the stake.
They're not doing that for CEH.
You know, hey, for the record, if it wasn't for if CEH didn't win the national championship with Joe Burrow, there'd be way more outcry about him being the first round pick.
I believe that for certain. I definitely do. It is what it is. You can't do anything about it at this point. It's fine. It is what it is.
In fact, Joe Burrow was on record for saying that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the best player on that LSU team.
Okay, dude. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, it's okay to pump up.
Yeah, he sold it to us. All right. Cool.
He sold it. All right.
I think that pretty much sums up our recaps, though. The 49ers are just so much better than the Cowboys. Eagles cleared the Giants. Chiefs, even injured, fucked up the Jaguars, and the Bengals just dismantled the Bills. So now we're kind of moving on to the championship outlooks. Do you want to do Eagles, 49ers first, or Chiefs, Bengals first? Okay.
Eagles, 49ers. Let's do it in order the games are going to happen live.
So my thoughts on this game. Again, beginning of the year, I picked the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl. When Trey Lance got injured, I moved my pick to the Eagles. I think that the huge factors in this game are going to be Christian McCaffrey and A.J. Brown. Those are going to be the two huge factors for me. And the reason that I would give the Eagles the edge in this game is because while the 49ers might have more flexibility in their positions and the guys that they have at their positions, the Eagles have more depth. The Eagles have the best offensive line in the NFL, and their quarterback has shown such significant development as a passer and as a quarterback in general versus Brock Purdy, who is relatively one-dimensional.
Brock Purdy isn't the rushing threat Jalen Hurts is.
God, no.
No one can debate that.
So I think this game is really going to come down to these three factors. Who's going to be able to cover A.J. Brown? What are they going to be able to do? Is anyone going to stop Jalen Hurts from getting out of the pocket? And who's going to stop Christian McCaffrey? Weighing this out, I'm kind of looking at both of these teams are great defensively, but both of these teams are also capable of putting up a lot of points. I don't think we're going to see the same low-scoring game as we did last week because I think we are going to see more throwing dependency. I have this game at 24-21 Eagles win.
Ooh. I knew we were going to end up on different ones. So I do completely agree with you. This Eagles team is a fucking buzzsaw.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find any weakness on this team.
Real, no joke.
Like, the only weak spots, and I'm happy you said Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
I think the X factors for 49ers are going to be Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle.
Okay.
And George Kittle take advantage of his matchups, especially if they end up putting Kazir White on him. They can get that matchup.
Yeah.
49ers can take advantage of this game and win.
They can.
They can. But it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's going to have to play very well. Kyle Shanahan's going to have to call a good game. Defensively, they still match up pretty well with Philly.
Yeah.
This is one of the deepest. The 49ers also have an extremely deep defensive line. They can make Philly have to pass the ball.
Yeah, I think the differentiator for me is Philly's secondary is better, but I think that the 49ers defensive line is better. And I think that the 49ers do have more of that versatility, like I was saying, with all of their guys being able to kind of either flex to do what they're needed to do or just cover other positions entirely. But I think that the Eagles are going to either fall behind a little bit and have to pass to get back up, which I trust them to do, or they're going to get out to a faster start, and they're going to have to keep throwing because they're not going to be able to run. So,
the 49ers be able to run against the Eagles?
Yes, definitely.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
And this matchup is such an immovable object meets
unstoppable force versus
immovable object pretty much. The 49ers are the best pass blocking team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have the third most sacks in NFL history for a season.
That's crazy. Yeah. I really to me it comes down to quarterback, right? Because I think you can give pluses and minuses for the defense and for a lot of the skill position guys, but for me, if this game comes down to quarterback, I will take Jalen Hurts over Brock Purdy any day, no question.
The biggest reason I'm going to take the 49ers here, I do think it's close. I think it is going to come down to the quarterback's play. I think Kyle Shanahan's a much better play caller than Nick Sirianni. No offense to Sirianni. Sirianni deserves Coach of the Year this year because the decisions he's made in game has produced more wins than any other coach this year.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan is such a good coordinator, or just drawing things up, putting defenses in situations where they can't win.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen with the linebackers, the Eagles. That's where you have to attack with the slot corners of the Eagles because they're not going to win on the outside.
No, absolutely not.
And I think the 49ers are going to win shootout.
Okay.
31-28.
31-28. Still a pretty close game. But, yeah.
And also, I think they can force Jalen Hurts in the mistake or two in coverage.
Okay.
I really think they do. I think Jalen Hurts is going to lose the turnover battle of Brock Purdy, and that's going to be the difference maker. Oof. So yeah, this week really is you and me picking different sides. I already know who you're going to pick in the next one.
So
you already know who I'm going to pick.
You had the 49ers 31-28, you said? Yeah, you probably do know who I'm going to pick for my next team. And I'm going to give you a list of reasons why in a second. But first of all, I would like to state that he is him. This is the appearance that we were waiting for. This is him right here. Okay, that is that guy. That is a guy that no one can look at or take away from. Now, standing next to that guy, we have Travis Kelce. And here are the 5 things that the Chiefs need to do to win. Because I was thinking about this all week. Allowing Kelce to dominate. And when I say allowing Kelce to dominate, what you were saying earlier about how the Bengals do a great job of closing the gap because they have safeties that are much more proficient than their corners, right? So their corners are going to play closer to not allow Kelce to block, break away, and get those quick receptions for 10 yards. That's something that everybody's asking, how is Kelce so open all the time? How does he just walk into the end zone? Because the way that Kelce plays, he starts off blocking, and because they either have an additional blocker behind him waiting, or because Mahomes starts moving in the pocket, defenses get nervous. So they either start to come in close or they start to separate, which opens up the middle. So Kelce is able to find a gap in the coverage, usually between the defensive line. The corners will usually tend to go to one side or the other to try to cover Juju or to try to cover one of those guys. And Kelce will find himself wide open in the middle. So when Mahomes kicks it out to the outside, Kelce is wide open in the center. So if Kelce can find gaps in coverage between linebackers and corners and safeties and zone coverage, that's where he's going to succeed. And he's impossible to one-on-one. So if Kelce does draw a 2-on-1, if they're double-teaming Kelce, we'll probably see an instance of someone running a deep cross instead of a shallow cross because those corners are so good. We'll probably see more of a mid-range, actually, not too deep. But like that play last week where MVS came in behind Kelce and found the score because they were trying to double Kelce because they're trying to take Kelce away. The next
Chiefs
thing,
really love those deep to intermediate crossing plays down the field.
Yes.
They're going to try to get that with MVS and Watson during this game.
And Mecole should be healthy. He should contribute catch or two, but not too much.
I think what the Bengals really want to do defensively in this game, take away the run game. If they can force the Chiefs to be one-dimensional, get in their dime coverage, because you want Flowers out there, one-on-one with Travis Kelce, if not having bracket coverage on Kelce. I think the Bengals can honestly win the rest of their matchups one-on-one. Especially if you have Hilton one-on-one Juju.
Okay, that I agree with that one.
Smith-Schuster's matchup in the slot.
Yeah.
No offense to Smith-Schuster, he's not winning.
No, it's fine. So that's where we get into my next point of having a strong and established run game. And I'm not talking just Pacheco dominating the field. I'm talking we need to see some of those screens to McKinnon. We need to see some things that we didn't see last week. And there were two reasons why we didn't see it last week, because I think we're going to try to surprise the Bengals with some new looks offensively. I think we're definitely going to see some pitch passes. He said the thing. I think we're going to see some screens. I think we're going to see some options from Mahomes. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. I think it was the very start of the Chiefs-Jags game. There was a sweet little veer route that Mahomes had where it looked like he was going to kick it to the outside and run, but he actually pitched the ball to Pacheco behind him, who had just a sick run after that.
Almost like a speed option.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we really, really need to see the Chiefs strategically running the ball instead of just trying to force it, because, as you said previously, the Bengals' defensive line is great, and they do a really, really good job of stopping the run.
DJ Reader is a fantastic defensive tackle
Yes.
that does not get enough credit.
Yeah, and like I said, there was only one game up until a certain point. I don't know how he finished the year, but there's only one game this year that Nick Chubb had under 60 yards in, and it was the Bengals game. I think he had 35. He just could not get anything done. So if we can kind of have some options like that, if Mahomes' ankle is feeling good enough to draw the coverage out, that's going to be a really important thing for opening up holes for Pacheco or giving some pitches or screens to McKinnon. And that's really, really important because we need their contributions to both control the clock and to get gains when we need them, when we can't be throwing 70 times. The next one is their offensive line, 3 starters out, need to get after Burrow.
I know. And Jonah Williams will not, and Alex Kappa are still going to be out for this game.
Okay. So we need to make sure of 3 things. 1, get Burrow off of his center, because if you're allowing him to have that quick release, the very least you need to get your hands up. And Karlaftis does a great job of this, but Chris Jones and Frank Clark really need to get interior. They really need to, number 1, run stuff. That's huge. And number 2, if they can't get enough pressure on the quarterback, they need to get their hands up and stop the pass.
Try to bat Burrow's passes at the line.
Yes.
Try to force Burrow to be uncomfortable. Make Burrow turn into I kind of like the idea of them trying to force Burrow into a runner, but have a spy for him.
Yes. Also, just letting you know, your camera did freeze.
Can you get...
Okay. So if you want to turn it off and back on, see if that works.
It's okay. I think it just fixed itself by me just moving.
Not on my screen, but
I can't see myself on that screen. But now I'm back.
All right, there we go. It's a little bit laggy, but I'm sure you'll be. Well, yeah, it's lagging. That's all right. The next thing is something that we did a really great job of last year was we got a really early lead, but we let up. And I think that there are really 2 parts to that, because we went the rest of the game scoring 3 points. That sucks.
Your guys' offense needs to be able to finish during this game. And really put the foot on the throat of the Bengals.
Our rhythm offensively got so disrupted that we couldn't pick it back up when we needed to in the 4th quarter or in overtime. We got nothing done. So we need some form of scoring consistency, which is why even though last week the injury sucked, it was still great to see that consistency of being able to score in every quarter. And the last thing that I have is they need to establish that triple threat really, really early on. Mahomes is fantastic at finding little creases in defenses, because everybody's so afraid of him throwing the ball that he's able to rush, he's able to scramble, and shit, you see him pick up like a 3rd and 22.
That's going to be the X factor in this game.
Yes.
Is how's Mahomes' ankle holding up? Can he take advantage and rush on plays?
Yes.
And if he does, will he aggravate the ankle again?
Probably, but after this week, he's going to have 2 weeks to figure it out. So that, I'm guessing he's going to say fuck it and do it anyway. The other 2 things to look at are how well is Mahomes going to be able to pass the ball, especially if he can't plant that ankle. So I think the key is consistency through chunking defenses, being able to read that defense and dismantle it from the shallower crossing routes than just going deep and trying to throw for 25 yards when you need it. That's definitely important. And I want to see more bootlegs this week. I know we don't have like a huge quarterback like Allen or Herbert, But if we can force the defenses to either focus inside or outside, it's going to open up the field one way or the other. And it's going to give guys like Tony and Mecole and MVS a lot of room to work with on the outside. So it's all dependent on how Mahomes' ankle is, because if they read that he has a weakness in one of those 3 areas, chances are we're cooked.
Yeah, like if Mahomes' ankle is not okay, and Hubbard can start to get after him, and like that Bengals defensive line can really start getting pressure on Holmes, hitting him a lot. Yeah. He might not even be able to finish the game.
Yeah, exactly. No, it really durability is a huge thing.
On the flip side, I think a big key for the Bengals offensively, keep drives going.
Yeah.
Keep drives alive, keep them long, keep Mahomes off the field, take advantage of the linebackers, Nick Bolton and Mulligan when they're out there. Both of them have allowed over 90% of their targets to be caught this year. You can beat them with Samaje Perine. You can beat them with Hayden Hurst.
Yes.
You can beat them with Joe Mixon. Those quick little 4, 5, 6, 7-yard plays, that's how you can beat the Chiefs.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
That's keeping them off the field. You can score on them. And if Burrow is consistent in the red zone, I think the Chiefs are going to win this game.
Yeah, we have the second...
Chiefs, Bengals are going to win this game.
No, I got you. We have the second worst red zone defense in the league. We were ranked 31st overall, and the Bengals were ranked 5th best red zone offense in the league.
So if they can just march down the field and win those 20s,
yeah,
I think it's going to be a 2-possession game. I think it's 35-21 Bengals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot to say mine when I was saying my thing, but I have it 35-30 Chiefs, so that's interesting. Yeah, I think that there's...
the Bengals team has got the AFC's number.
You know,
for this year.
It's possible. It definitely is a possible thing. I think it really just depends on the 2 factors that we talked about, right? Like, how does the game start? Are either team able to be consistent, and the health of both quarterbacks? We saw Burrow take like 1 shot last week, I think, but it wasn't anything
Matt
like...
Milano.
Yeah.
Matt Milano can hit though. Like that shot looked like it hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like a rib shatterer or ankle breaker.
Like he did to Mike White.
Yeah.
Like literally what Matt Milano did to Mike White.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that at the end of the day, if you're looking at X factors in games, I think that there definitely are X factors in all of these games, and the Bengals have a much more complete constructed roster because the Chiefs haven't had high draft picks, and the Bengals did for years.
Brandon, did you remember Brandon Bean's point to, well, I never want to be that bad to get Jamar Chase?
Yeah, the Bills' arrogance
it was some salt during that interview, might I say.
Definitely.
I'm sorry that you missed on draft picks as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Devin Singletary was a waste of a draft pick.
Dude, okay, hear me out. Imagine if the Bills had Justin Jefferson instead of Stephon Diggs.
They have Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
it would be better off for them cap-wise. I agree on that point.
Plus, it would be a young receiver that would develop with Josh Allen.
But would that have been good for Josh Allen's development? Was having Stephon Diggs, a veteran who was established, who knew how he play, better for his development compared to Justin Jefferson?
No question in my mind. Yeah.
I think the road for Josh Allen's development happened the perfect way for him.
It definitely did. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think that the way that a lot of these teams have... We have like a very clear upper echelon of teams right now. And a lot of those teams, it's not going to be swayed. Like the 49ers, obviously, having a horrible injury to their quarterback, it didn't derail their season.
And then their backup quarterback.
Yeah, and then their backup.
They're on their third string.
And they are very minimally not favored in this game. It's
a 2.5-point spread.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Speaking of spreads, I have a divisional parlay for all of our listeners. Of course, it has my picks on it for what we just did as well.
Okay.
So 5-leg parlay, George Kittle over 46.5 yards.
Okay.
AJ Brown under 73.5 yards.
Really?
George Kittle anytime TD scorer, San Francisco plus 2.5, Bengals money line.
Okay.
That is plus 2,513 odds. A $10 bet would win you $250.
I like Travis Kelce anytime touchdown scorer. Chiefs money line. Travis Kelce over 60 yards.
Okay. I like the over 60 yards for sure.
And then I like the Eagles in this game. I would say I don't know if I'd take the points. I would take Eagles money line in this game.
Yeah.
And AJ Brown, I think AJ Brown will have at least 70 yards.
I don't know. Well, that's him getting like 75.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think Ward is going to have a nice game against him if that's who he's lined up on.
It's very possible.
I think it's more, if they're going to beat him with the passing game, it's going to be more Devontae Smith and Quez Watkins.
Gotcha. Yeah,
a big portion of A.J. Brown's yards are from yak opportunities and yards after the catch. And this 49ers team tackles so fucking well.
I agree with that, but I also they don't really have anybody that matches up with A.J. Brown. I think
Travaris Ward does. Ward 1,000% does.
We'll see. We can make a side bet on that if you want. I'll give you A.J. Brown 70 yards.
No, I'm not taking. I like my under 74 in it. Half.
Tell you what, I will give you A.J. Brown over 74 yards. How about that?
Over? Okay.
I'll make a note of that. I'll remember that.
Okay. We'll make a $5 bet on it.
It's not high stakes here, but
it's not high stakes. Oh man, but I am so excited for both these games for championship weekend. These are the 4 best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. I think it's funny. My Super Bowl picks for this year were Chiefs and 49ers, and I have the Chiefs and Eagles going to the Super Bowl, despite the 49ers playing so well. But I just think
Did we both take the 49ers?
No, I took the Eagles. Eagles 24-21.
No, like at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah, because you love Trey Lance too.
Yep.
Yeah, you were the one that got me on his bandwagon.
I'm sorry for how this ride's been.
It's okay, man. You know what? I got him in Dynasty, not in... well, I got him in both, but I have him in Dynasty. That's what really matters, because I think this year... Got Breece Hall coming back, got Trey Lance. I got my picks lined up for this year, because I got some guys that I think are going to be dogs that I don't think anybody's going to take.
Yeah. And speaking of dogs, thank you to all of our dogs for coming into this edition of Pitch Pass Podcast. Championship weekend on the way. Tweet at both of us. Tweet at the actual Pitch Pass Twitter. Let us know how you think about our predictions. Let us know if you made the same bets and parlays that we just said on the show.
Yes, and let us know if you have any better ones. Probably don't take a Boston Scott touchdown this week. It's probably not a smart idea. If the sportsbook is offering it, you need to contact the commission in your state. Yeah, real, no joke. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you're swindling people.
That's no joke, bro.
Like, subscribe, comment. Thanks for coming out.
Bye, guys. Peace out. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Let us know if you have different predictions, if you have any teams in this thing. We love you. Thank you for all the love and support. We really appreciate you guys. Sorry it was a little bit awkward. We'll probably get better at this. I haven't really figured out where to place our faces and where to do all of this, but we'll figure it out. So thanks for sticking with us. If you've made it this far in the video, please comment Beagle, Beagle, Beagle in the comments.
Beagle!
All right, peace out, y'all.